How do you find them?
They
So not
find you.
everybody can do an undercover boss or an undercover friend episode. So you also don't want to test your buddies or your friends because that's awkward, and most of the time that underlines that you don't trust them at all if you need to test them. So how can I be certain that those friends that are around me right now are true to me and will say the same thing in 5 years if every single person is evolving every single day?
I can look at it two different ways, and that's a very good question, but it's a dangerous question because the worst thing that could ever happen in your life is to lose a very good friend. And it happens. Sometimes you grow apart or you disagree or your pride gets in the way where somebody just can't apologize and say they're sorry. I think you and I are nice people, but sometimes people come in and out of your life for many different reasons. And so I think you should have the natural filter. I believe in cosquillas and mariposas and chills and tingles. There's a sort of electromagnetic energy that people can send to you and you can sense it. And so if your body is, and you got to give someone a break because if they're having a tough day, it's not you. I mean, you got to give them enough examples to know the person well. But I think internally, if you feel comfortable with them in silence, or you can sit next to somebody for a half an hour on a dock fishing, you got a good friend. You're just hanging out. But if you always need to be entertaining or one-upping and spending money or distracted, that's really just someone just for the company. But the second thing that I like to do, you need to have the consistency. And so I might ask a certain question just to see a certain range of thought, or even if they're taking something into consideration. Even if you don't have an experience in something, you can still be a good listener. Or you could just call to catch up and say, "Hey, Maurice, how you doing, man? I remember last Sunday you said something happened there. Just following up. You're not asking for anything, really. You're just calling to see how you're doing. You're not buying me a beer. I'm not asking to borrow a shovel or something from your house. Um, it's interesting when I talk to my parents, I go, "Do you speak to your friends?" They go, "Well, it's interesting. I'm usually the one that calls. I get a few people that call, but I'm usually the one that reaches out." I don't blame people that get stuck in their lives and one day turns to 1 year. It moves so fast. And maybe unless you look at a photograph or something reminds you of something, me, it's Costa Rica. Yeah, it's called Rich. They don't remember, but I remember. Why? Because it's not for me, it's for them. I want them to know that someone still thinks about them 40 years later and somebody is wishing you well and is proud of you and the life that you did and the fact that we still have this relationship after all this time. It's very nice. You don't need to talk for 2 hours. Sometimes it's just 2 minutes and it's more than enough to give that high five and hug. And they'll thank you. Most of the time they go, Richie, I really needed that today. He just brought me into a good head and a good space. Of course. Just thinking of good times. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the magic dust that you can use from time to time to brighten up your day.
Amen. Wow. Okay, so a lot of what you just said resonated with me deeply because there's always this talk about good friendships and what makes good friends, and I'm always trying to be a good friend. I the 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 main thing is laying on the trying.